Well, I hope I have enough work power working here to put this video up on YouTube. So it's been a while since I've done a review. I think the last one I did was I think it was Home Alone. So that was a while ago. Um, so today I'm going to be looking at the newest edition in the Spider-Man film history with Spider-Man into the Spiderverse, and it's a very interesting movie in the sense that we've had. Sorry, I need to do a better job flossing. Anyway, so we've had the three Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, the two Amazing Spider-Man films, Spider-Man Homecoming, and now we have this. Um, and I'm not trying to come off as well. Now we got this thing. Ah, great. I'm not trying to come across as that. I'm just saying, these are the amount of films we've had leading up to this, and I think there's another Spider-Man movie that's going to be coming out this summer, or at least late summer, early fall. Uh, to to take a quote from Deadpool and twist it into this situation, these movie release dates are so confusing. Anyway, so we're talking about the movie that came out, I believe it was last December. And right off the bat, I just want to say before going into this movie, I saw the animation style and all the trailers, and I wasn't sure how I was going to react to that because it looked a little fuzzy, it looked a little weird and distorted. But when I actually sat down to watch this movie in the theater, it was actually the animation was the best thing about it. It was colorful, vibrant, and there was a lot of zippy energy to the way the characters move and the way the lights were flashing all over the screen with the sound effects and stuff. And what was also kind of a funny touch that kind of made the film a little more cartoony was sometimes if a character was yelling "Yay!" while flying across the sky, you'd see the words spelling out "Yay" right behind the characters he's zipping along, he or she anyway. So, and there's one really funny part in the background where they toss a bagel aside as they're trying to escape this evil lab, and it hits a guy in the head, and it just says, it just says bagel. It's like, yes, he's hit by what? Hmm? that so so the animation style was an amazing plus that I wasn't really expecting to work as a plus because it looked a little weird at first. So the main plot of this movie, which I'm pretty sure most people could tell in the trailers, is that this teenage kid Miles, who's Puerto Rican and African American, much like his counterpart in the comics, he ends up teaming up with different Spider-Man characters from different universes to stop this evil force. And honestly, it's really more of a plot to stop the Kingpin from uh actually, I think the main plan of the movie is just to stop an evil death machine from destroying the world and get all the other spider characters back to their original time. But I think with Kingpin's plot, it's really some weird plot to try and get his family back. I think I I probably should look this up to refresh myself, but it is kind of weird that the villain is well. I think the plan is that he's trying to bring his family back somehow, but the process of doing this could kill everyone else in the process. So yeah, it's a selfish risk brought on from a sympathetic, motive from what I remember. Um, and the main charm of the movie is pretty much the main charm that we got from the Avengers films and a bunch of other movies where the characters cross over is the interactions between everybody. You got Miles Morales, who's kind of this impressionable, wide-eyed kid, and then you got Peter Parker or Peter B. Parker, who's kind of this overweight schlub who's past his prime, and his life is just falling apart. Then you got Spider Gwen, who's Miles's crush, You got the Spider Ham and a bunch of other Spider-Man characters I hadn't heard of until now. Um, yeah, I'm not really that much of a comic book nerd if you guys haven't noticed. Um, sorry, the candles are actually making lighting really good, even though there's a glare over behind my head right on the picture. Okay, that was kind of an awkward digression. Um, so I think the way these characters interact off each other, that's basically the heart and soul of the movie is the characters. And there is some good chemistry, there is some good one-liners, and there is kind of a cute sort of brotherly kind of Martin Thomas noticed this from Double Toasted in his review that the relationship between Miles and the other Peter is it kind of starts off as sort of like this big brother kind of thing, but then it's kind of like another father figure in Miles's life. And Miles is kind of at that point where he needs guidance in his life. He wants to be a graffiti artist. He wants to follow his path, but his father is trying to push him into this private school to try and bump him out of the Brooklyn area and make something of himself. But Miles wants to go back to where he wants to go. So there is a father son conflict between Miles and his real father. So he turns to his uncle Aaron, and he turns to his other version of Peter Parker to sort of be that guiding force to help Miles mold himself into the man that he wants to become. And so I think there was kind of a nice, sweet dynamic of Miles trying to look for a father figure he could look up to, and this movie is pretty emotional. I mean, when you see it in the trailer, you kind of think it might be a mostly happy romp of maybe some scenes of drama, but no, we see several characters die in this movie, and two of which are Miles's motivations for trying to be a hero. And yeah, I was not expecting to have a few scenes in the movie where I felt a little misty eyed. And I mean, there are a few scenes. I feel like in a lot of these movies nowadays, they kind of play up the awkwardness with teenage characters for comedic effect. But sometimes that can get a little embarrassing. I'm trying to think of other problems I had with the movie because usually when I do a review and I'm gushing about a film for even if for legitimate reasons, I'm like, okay, is there something about here I could knock down a bit? Um, well, I think another thing I like about this movie is that if you go into this film as someone who's uninitiated and doesn't really know all that much about comics, it's okay because they do explain a lot of the backstories for all the spider characters in the film. So they do a good job at catching everyone up to speed who may not have been much of a comic book reader like me. I've read a few comics, but I would not call myself a comic geek. I'm more of a movie buff. So, oh man, hang on, let me try. Okay. Yeah, sorry, the candles are causing this weird glare, so it's like I'm burning up in here. Anyways, so I definitely think it's probably one of the best animated films of the year. So that's probably why it's getting nominated and winning these awards for its animation. The voice acting, aside from three performers, Nicolas Cage, Lily Tomlin, and Lee Schreiber, I think most of the people in this cast are voice actors, which is it's really nice to see that because there's so many times ever since Toy Story, a lot of animated movies cram in celebrity voices, which is like, okay, that's good, but don't you want people who are trained to do voiceovers for your movie? I mean, I love Toy Story. I love those movies where they get celebrities in and it's a movie. Yeah, I'm not saying getting a celebrity to voice a character is a bad idea. I'm just saying that it's become popularized, and it's nice to see a movie sort of stray away from that to an extent. So that's pretty much the review. I think the only thing I can say is that I hear they're making a sequel, and if it can balance the comedy and the drama in the sequel as well as it did in the first film, because I think this is the first movie I've seen in a while where it tries to tell a lot of jokes and it succeeds while also being a superhero movie. Because I mean, Thor Ragnarok was pretty bad as far as trying to balance that out and make it work. Spider-Man: Homecoming did a little better, and this one knocked it out of the park, meshing drama and comedy. So we'll see if they make a sequel, how that works. But it's probably going to be better than the Venom sequel as far as quality. Now, in terms of money, we'll see. But I mean, all in all, if you haven't seen this movie, go ahead and go see it. If you've already seen it and you're kind of thinking of watching it again, definitely go for it because there might be some stuff you miss in the background. I think with these kind of movies, you miss a few things in the background. But anyway, I'll see you guys next week. See ya.